Greetings, everyone. The Colfax Massacre, sometimes referred to as the Colfax Riot, occurred on Easter Sunday, April 13, 1873, in Colfax, Louisiana, the parish seat of Grant Parish. An estimated 62 to 153 black militiamen were murdered while surrendering to a mob of former Confederate soldiers and members of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, this is not what really happened. This is what you call reconstruction of history. What really happened is, okay, here it is. The Republican was in office, okay, which was mostly composed of so-called black people, was running the government. So they had an election, and the Republican won. Okay, they're telling the truth down here. Historic Eric Fodor described the massacre as the world instance of racial violence during Reconstruction in Louisiana. It had the most fatalities of any of the numerous violent events occurring after the disputed gubernatorial contest 1872 between Republicans and Democrats. Okay? Farmer wrote, every election in Louisiana between 1868 and 1876 was marked by rampart violence and pervasive fraud. Why don't they just come out and tell the truth? The Democrats didn't want to lose the power to the leadership of the melanated people who was running the government. They were Republicans. They lost. The Democrats lost the election. That's why I say you have to know history, the true history, because the real history is being changed. It didn't have nothing to do with Ku Klux Klan. It was a political war against the winners of the election. These Democrats, yeah. I know I'm in the Democratic community and you may ban this video, but I'm showing you the truth of it right on YouTube. If you don't like the truth, you got to talk to YouTube, Wikipedia. It's not me saying this, Wikipedia saying. So Wikipedia, you going against the community standards of Democrats because they want to ban you for telling the truth. Yeah, this was a massacre. They used cannon to blow up the church they took refuge in. Matter of fact, they was trying to give themselves up. You hear me? 62 to 153 black, they wasn't militiamen. They was trying to keep their government, so they refused to leave the courthouse, which was also a church house. They took refuge there because they knew the whites was going to murder them. This is not hatred, this is history. Former Confederate soldiers and members of the KKK. This is the cannon they used to blast them out. And the people on TV talking, wearing Colfax hats like it's something to be proud of. This was a massacre. This wasn't even a war. This is when they start taking the government. This is when they started taking the government. This is now a few years later, because of the Democrats lost the presidency. Hayes conferred with Titan, I believe, and gave him the necessary votes. It was a deadlock. The president has the popular vote, but they didn't have the electoral votes. So Hayes made a deal with them, or they made a deal with President Hayes that he'll get the presidency if they would take the troops out of the South. See, the troops were protecting the black people there. So Hayes took the troops out to the South, and that's when you really had carnage. This is why white folks are so guilty. This is why y'all can't look people in the face while you hang your head down. Because you didn't do this. You didn't do this. Your ancestors did it. And you want to pretend like nothing happened. You're not responsible for it. Well, the Bible says the sins of the parents are visited down to the children to the third and fourth generation. Because you haven't done nothing about what your ancestors did, then God is going to punish you. Yeah, you've been punished every day. I'm just reading what they say here. So when they say the Klan, what they really talking about is the Democratic Party. Because that's what this was all about. So are you saying, old school, that the Democratic Party is the Klan? No, I'm not saying it. They're saying right here on Wikipedia. Wikipedia's saying that. I'm not going to come across the Democratic community. They allow me to be here. I'm just showing you what is said here. It says a massacre. They say it's a massacre. They got a little truth here, but they don't tell you they was trying to give themselves up. The black people was trying to give themselves up. They just didn't want to be murdered. But they murdered them anyway. Wow. That's a little U.S. history for y'all. And when you hear anything, you need to Google it and go to Wikipedia. They're not going to have the full truth, but they have enough truth for you to put together the full truth. But it's being changed slowly. They're changing. They're taking away all the truth. So everything gonna be a lie. Cause look, if you got 10%, if you have 90% truth and 10% lie, how can the whole thing be true? It's all a lie. Even if you got 90% truth, it's all a lie. If you don't have 100% truth, it's not truth. And they're taking more and more away from the truth that's out here. So in 15, 20 years, there won't be any truth. If you don't record the little truth here now, which I'm doing, there won't be any. So thank you, community, for letting me speak this truth. And you can shadow ban me, but you can't hide the truth, because the truth will be here long after I'm gone and you're gone. So be to your interest to get this truth out. Because when people know better, they'll do better. Or they should, if they're intelligent. Okay, well, that's all I had. Do your research. And read more than Wikipedia, because they just a little source. Go back to the encyclopedias. Get some old encyclopedias before 1930 when they started destroying everything. It's hard to find. Go to the one place you can find these books is in the White House Library. What do you call it? The Congressional Library, Library of Congress. Yeah, the Library of Congress got all this true information. It's not whitewashed. It's not fractionalized. Some truth and some. See, Republicans and Democrats. And why they talk about Ku Klux Klan? Because the Republican was black folks, part of Lincoln, and the Democrat was the Klan. Because they hated Lincoln, they hated what he was doing. They didn't want melanated people to even be here. They didn't want to compete with us. Because if you compete with us, you lose. You know that. But you think God is going to forgive y'all? I don't know. Jesus never did nothing like that. Well, I done beat that. I done beat that dog to death. So I just want y'all to know that a lot of people are spreading hatred when I'm putting out truth here. But I'm getting it from your sources. I'm getting it from your sources. It's not something coming from me. It's right here. Now, I tell you what, if you come back a year or two, you won't find nothing about Colfax Massacre. They're going to take it down. Yes. And you would never know it was there. It's like it's erased from history. This is one of the few things they have forgot to erase. But it won't be here, but it'll be in other places, you see. You think this has something to do with the flooding of back in 2005? Katrina? Do you think black folks owned that land and they didn't want them to own the land, so they flooded the land? I'm just saying, everything has a cause and effect. It's natural law. You can't get around it. Okay, peace to the peaceful and love to those who are able to love.